studio with me today, I have Deacon John and his wife, Mary Devlin. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for coming in. I wanted you to come in. Deacon Devlin, we just before we started here, I mentioned that I've been wanting to have you on for a while. And I just haven't gotten you over here, and I really don't know why. I know you're busy, so I'm really glad to finally have you here to tell your story of how you became a deacon, what it's done for the two of you as a couple and in your marriage. So that's what we get to talk about today. I know a lot of the deacons know you for sure.
Yes.
And you are a deacon at one of the largest parishes. Okay, it goes back and forth with Holy Spirit. Like one day it's Holy Spirit, the next day it's St. Michael.
Right.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
We fight back and forth for the most. But so a lot of people know you, especially in the area.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of people even around, maybe outside the area, know you. So we're going to find out a lot about the two of you. Can we start, whichever one of you wants to start, tell us a little bit about yourselves, maybe pre-couple and as a couple.
Okay. Well, our pre-couple life was pretty short since we met when we were 16.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
We both worked at Lewis Drug, met there and became friends, and then started going out, as they used to say. I don't know if that's even still a term anymore. And then in 1977, when I was 19, Mary was 20, we got married.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was 5. I don't get to say that very often as someone. Usually it's the other way around. So
more common, younger marriage is more common back in that day than they are today.
Probably a better way to do it.
But anyway, we have we have 2 children.
Okay.
Daughter who's a police officer in Sioux Falls, been there for 24 years.
I didn't know that. Wow.
And a son who is a computer guy, works out of his basement and does internet security for a bank in Ohio.
Oh, wow. Does he live here in Sioux Falls or is he in Ohio?
He lives in
here.
Sioux Falls.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's kind of, that would have never happened not many years ago.
No, he'd be in Ohio.
Yes. We have 4 grandchildren. We have an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old.
Wow, that's
each
great.
of our kids have 2. My son has the older 2, my daughter the younger 2.
Very nice. Are you guys enjoying being grandparents?
Oh my gosh.
Is it better than being parents?
Oh yes, much, yeah. Well, it's a different relationship with a child. I don't say that, you don't have to be, everything a parent has to be. You can be more of a friend to a child where you can't always do that when you're the parent.
Yeah, yeah. So did you both grow up in Sioux Falls?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mary grew up on the east side of Sioux Falls.
St. Therese.
Ah, okay.
I grew up on the north end, 4 blocks north of where we're sitting right now.
Very nice.
On Duluth Avenue. I went to Cathedral Grade School and all that. Yes.
So this is your neighborhood here.
Yes, it is.
Or at least it was once.
It was, yeah. I've never been able to convince Mary to move back up here.
There's good and bad. So
yes.
Okay. Deacon, what do you do for a regular job?
For a regular job, I work for St. Michael Parish.
Oh, okay.
I do lots of different things there. I have had a lot of experience in management and administration. I worked for Lewis Drug for 35 years in management before taking a job with St. Michael's 16 years ago.
Wow.
So I just do lots of different things there. I manage the building and grounds, help with some of the office management things wherever Father wants me to.
I bet you're a good resource for the priests when they come there.
Yeah, just have a lot of experience.
Yes,
anyway.
Institutional knowledge is really good to have. So.
Yeah, Mary and I have been at St. Michael's since the day it opened.
That's what Mary said when we were chatting beforehand. That's crazy. But
1979, we started there.
That's lovely. Mary, what do you do?
I'm retired.
What did you do before that?
I worked at Avera.
Okay.
Before that, I worked here.
Really? Oh, that's right. That's right. We talked about you started. So when did you leave the Chancery?
2009.
Okay.
Was it? No, 2002.
No. Yeah,
2002.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because you left when Dr. Bergwald started.
His first
she was
day
very
was
lucky.
my last day.
What a lucky
Yeah.
stroke of luck.
Yeah.
Lucky stroke of luck. That was a
Yeah.
great phrase.
Yeah.
Okay, so you two met. You started at Lewis really early, and then
Yes.
must have worked your way up.
Yes.
That's
yes.
amazing. That does
Yeah.
not happen very often anymore. You know that,
Well,
right?
yeah. Well, I think it goes, a couple of ways. Lewis was always very good to me.
Yeah.
And I was, so I stuck with him.
Yep.
It was easy to be loyal
Yeah.
and be with him. I didn't quit because I was mad or
Right,
anything. I quit
right.
to do something different with my life.
Yep.
So,
And that's a good thing.
yeah.
Okay, let's go to Deacon Devlin. When and why? I want to know how this came about, where you decided to be a deacon, because you haven't been a deacon your whole life, obviously.
17 years.
17 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did this come about?
Well, back probably, I think I can trace it back to 1997 when we had our first Journey to Holiness thing. I don't know if you ever heard of those, where there was three of them in
no.
every 2 years apart. There was three of these big events they had that the diocese hosted at the then arena, and there was no Sanford,
No Sanford.
no, none of that going on out there. There was a booth with deacon. Everybody, there was all this display area where there was vendors, and there was a booth full of deacons. So I was talking to them for a while, and they actually, kind of encouraged me to think about it.
Sure.
They didn't know. They weren't trying to tell me, hey,
Sure.
you should be a deacon,
Right.
but they encouraged me to think. So I did. I started praying
Yeah.
with that, and it took a long time
Yeah.
for me to come around.
Because at
to all
that
of
time, you guys would have been
and-
married 30-ish years?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, we would,
Okay.
about 30
Yeah.
years married, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, do the math
Yeah.
quick. We were married 20 years then, right?
Okay,
Yeah, 20
yeah,
years,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, just started praying with it for quite a while. I was kind of driving my friends and my wife a little crazy with, hey, do you think I should do this? And what do you think?
Well, it's
And
a
so
big deal.
I just decided I think it was about 2001, I had decided I'm not going to ask anybody else about this until somebody brings it up to me.
Oh,
Okay, this was
okay.
on a Sunday morning, just
Let me
before I
guess,
went
that
to
same day.
Mass. Just before I went to Mass. I was a sacristan that day,
Uh-huh.
so I was there early. And I was walking into the nave of the church, and Father Joe Vogel, who was our pastor at the time, was walking out, and he said to me, have you ever thought about being a deacon?
And you're like, really?
Really, God? Yeah. So, and then it took a couple more years to get into formation. There was there was some issues here and there, and then the whole formation program was suspended for a little while by
Oh,
Bishop Carlson.
okay.
And then it started up again in 2003, and that's when I entered formation.
Okay.
Mary and I started going to formation classes then.
Yeah, because the wives go with you, don't they?
Yes.
I'm convinced that God has a sense of humor. I mean, that's why He made us with a sense of
Yeah.
humor, and He does things like
Yeah.
that, where
It
it's
was
like, oh, I'm
5
gonna wait until someone says something. He's like, oh, just wait.
It was about 5 minutes between the prayer and the.
You wanted to make sure you remembered what you
That's
just
right.
said.
We lived across, not very far away, so it didn't take him long to get there. So.
yeah.
Okay, so Mary, what were your thoughts when he came home and he's like, all right, well, someone asked, I said this. Because did you explain all that to her, what you just went through?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Later on, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mary,
It
what-
didn't surprise me.
no, did you kind of have a feeling it was coming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And I encouraged it.
You did. Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a, what's going to happen now? It
Right.
was a good thing.
Yeah.
For you. Great. Deacon has this path, because of course it has to be okay with both partners in the marriage. Was this path difficult for the two of you? What did it do to your marriage as you were going through formation?
Well, I think in most ways it strengthened our relationship in faith and in prayer, and just as a couple, because we were going through this together. The wives, like Mary in the program, were not required to do the work.
Right,
They
right.
were required to be at all of the formation classes, but
Yeah.
they were not required to do the reading and the homework and all of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
knew
she
what he
did-
was.
yeah,
I followed along and
Yeah.
knew what he was talking about, and we discussed it.
Yep.
So that when we got to class,
Yeah.
I could participate in the
Yeah.
discussion.
Because it is important that you participate, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We want the wives to be a part of it, so they so that there's a good understanding with the wives of just what's going on here,
Yeah.
what their husband is getting into. So yeah, for us it was a very good thing for our relationship. It was a lot of work because when I first joined the program, I was managing a store for Lewis Drug, and I don't know if you know anything about retail management, but it's not an 8 to 5
No,
Monday
it
through
is
Friday
not.
job. It is a you're just there.
Very much like my husband's dad owned a restaurant in Watertown for many years. It's very much like owning a restaurant.
Yeah.
You're there whenever they need you to be
Yeah,
there.
that's right. Yeah, I was the assistant managers that worked for me who wanted to be a manager. I used to say, well, just remember this. We should have a little marriage ceremony when you take this job. And,
Oh my goodness!
and,
You're married to the store
because
now.
this is a marriage. This is more than just a job.
And I can understand why you might not want that for your whole
Right,
life.
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
you do
it's
actually have a real marriage.
Yeah, nights, holidays,
Yes.
weekends.
Yes.
And I thought that might change.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a
Yep.
that didn't change much,
Oh,
did
no.
it? So I was well trained
Yeah.
in the retail world for working in the church and being a deacon because it's weekends, nights, holidays. When other people are off,
Yep.
we're
Yeah. You're used to that.
we're busy. Yeah.
What did you do early on after you first became a deacon? What did you do in that role?
Well, I was assigned right away to St. Michael Parish
Okay.
because at that time St. Michael had no
deacon.
there was no deacon at St. Michael, so I was assigned there. I just did. I was still working for Lewis Drug the first year, so I just assisted at 2 masses on the weekend, preached 1 weekend a month, and then did whatever else Father Simple, who is our pastor, then asked me to do. If he asked me to do wake services, I
Oh sure.
did them. If he asked me to do marriage preps and things like that, or weddings, I did those things. And then, but then the next year is when I started working.
Okay. At
for
the parish.
At the parish. yeah.
What of those things did you like the best? Like, do you like the marriage prep? Do you like doing homilies?
He's very good.
I bet he is.
I like preaching, yes, but but I'm once a month is really enough because really the people should hear from the pastor.
Yeah.
First.
Yep.
That's the most important. He's their shepherd.
Yep.
But I think deacons can bring a different perspective
Yeah.
to preaching, to life,
Very much.
and a different way of bringing the people to a deeper relationship with God.
Yeah, because you're really more like the rest of us, living
Yeah.
a regular life, married, whatever it is. So yeah, you're right. You can really kind of find that spot better.
Yes, and then after I started working for the church, I just picked up a lot of other administrative sort of things. Whatever the pastor wanted me to do. I always one of the I pray the litany of humility every day,
Yes.
and
It's one of my
in there
favorites.
one of the things in there is from the desire of being consulted.
Yes.
Deliver me, Jesus. And so you just have to wait. for
That's one
someone
that
to
always
ask.
stands out with me too, is the desire to be consulted, because it really is like something we want, is
Yeah.
to be, because it makes us feel important.
Yeah, if someone, golly, they should ask
Yes.
me.
Yes.
But I just learned early on, if they don't ask, they don't ask.
Yeah,
You just gotta
And that's
let
okay.
it go.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you do as a deacon, or have done at least for a while, since I've known you for sure, is you've kind of been the leader of the deacon formation program.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that, and what does that involve?
I started with that when Deacon Height left that position. Bishop Swain asked me to do it in 2018. So
Okay.
it wasn't long time ago,
Yeah.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was able to take, in these last 6 years, 2 different cohorts of men through their
Yeah, because it's 3
all
years,
formation, and it's 4 years, but we overlap a
4.
year, so
Goodness,
it all. And the guys that I started with had already had a year,
Sure.
so it worked out that I was able to get
Yeah.
2 cohorts.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that? Have
Oh,
you enjoyed that
yes.
work?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, tremendously.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just good to walk with these guys and their wives. Mary is a great
Oh, I bet
help
so.
with the wives because they have lots of questions.
Yes.
And,
I would.
Yeah.
and how does this work and all of that and where so anyway. So yeah, we enjoyed it much, and my job was to teach some of the classes, but mostly to arrange for people who
Oh, sure.
were good at the like for scripture,
For certain things.
for homiletics, for different things, to get people in who really knew what was going on with
Yeah.
those and could teach them well.
Yeah. I bet, Mary, you really enjoyed the getting to know the wives.
Yeah, that was good.
Is that your favorite part of
Yeah. Oh,
that
yeah.
part? Yeah. Because then you kind of form I have to imagine you kind of form this little family of deacons'
Oh,
wives.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
this
support
last
each other.
group, I was with them for 4 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you really become friends
Yeah.
and a support system for each other.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. All right. Let's see. What has been your most memorable thing you've done?
Oh
Deacon
my!
Devlin.
I've been privileged to do many wonderful things as a deacon, but probably the most memorable is I was able to be one of the assisting deacons at Bishop DeGrood's ordination.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because that's the only time you've probably gotten to do that.
Yeah, Michael Kapperman, deacon at the time, Michael Kapperman and I were the
Yep.
2 deacons. We were assisting Bishop Hebda,
Oh, yes.
who was the ordaining
Whew, that's a big
bishop,
deal.
and, yes. Yeah, it was for us anyway. It was sure a big deal to be right there.
Yeah.
And then the other one I would say, Bishop Swain ordained us. We were his first ordinations.
Oh, okay.
Our class was
Okay.
his first ordinations. And I really had a real love for Bishop Swain, and I was able to assist at his funeral mass.
Yeah.
And so that was just a really good place to be. And
I know a lot of deacons that I've talked to really, they love the ability to serve the bishop and serve at the bishop's mass. And you guys rotate through that. I
Yes,
think,
we
don't
do.
you? Kind of around that area.
Yeah. Mostly around the area because it's difficult
Right.
for
Yeah.
other guys to drive way in
Right.
for it. But yes, well, deacons are ordained for the bishop.
Right.
And then the bishop generally assigns us, of course, to a pastor who becomes our supervisor in ministry. But yeah, deacons all throughout the history of the church are the bishop's guys.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. So, are there things that now you became a deacon after your children are already gone
Yeah,
out
long,
of the house?
yeah, they were long gone.
So has this life as a deacon and the two of you doing this together, has that impacted the rest of your family, do you think? Or are they just like, nope, they've always been really faithful and nothing's really changed?
we
not
have
quite.
well there was sort of there was a journey to
Yeah.
faithfulness for us,
Oh,
just
yes.
like with most people and
Yep.
with most couples. And for us, a Cursillo retreat really got us. Really kind of, we were not that we weren't faithful before, but it really kind of pushed us
Ramped it
a
up.
long ways down the path.
Yeah.
And we really took that. So, and our kids were in high school then.
Yeah.
And so they thought we were a little bit nutty.
Kids are, you weren't doing it right if your kids don't think you're nutty, right?
They would comment,
true.
boy, Dad sure is different.
Yeah, but I hope it wasn't,
In a bad way, right?
Yeah. He used to be more fun.
No, I'm sure
Yeah,
it's
no.
all in good ways.
No, it was good, but I think they've supported us, me and Mary, well
Yeah.
throughout
Good.
this journey and through being a deacon, and have really been good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're about to change assignments in a way, not
In a
moving
way.
not moving to another parish.
No.
Hold on, everybody at St. Michael's, it's okay. It's not moving to a different
No.
parish, but you are not going to be doing the deacon formation anymore.
Right, yeah.
Will you be doing something else in its place, or will you just be focusing on the parish?
I'm still what's called for lack of a better word, the deacon director, which
Okay,
means I
okay.
just have, which isn't a huge job. It just means that I kind of am the communications hub for the deacons in the diocese
Sure.
and send out what what I think they, need to know, encourage them to participate in diocesan events, things like that.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not but I'll still do that for
Good.
now until Bishop
Until
wants somebody else to do it.
So we'll still see you around here plenty, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's one of the great things about the position you're in is we actually get to see you around, which is nice. Okay, one final quick question. Deacon Mary, is there anything that you wanted to add from anything I asked?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. He told the story pretty well.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Deacon Devlin, if a man came to you and wanted your advice, as you were looking for advice from many people
Sure.
about the possibility of becoming a deacon, what advice would you give him?
First thing I would tell him is to talk to his wife,
Yeah.
and make sure that.
Already.
Then I would encourage him to two things. I encourage guys to either start doing the Liturgy of the Hours, morning and evening prayer, or get the Magnificat or one of those publications that kind of has that morning, even that regular daily prayer to it. So it really establishes a pattern of prayer that is actually praying with the church,
Right.
in all of those ways. And then to get into some sort of spiritual direction, either with their pastor or somebody, so that someone can assist them in discerning this call.
Yeah, I feel like that would be super important because I don't think you can really go through that whole process without some sort of spiritual direction, could you?
No, you
Not
really
well.
can't. No, you need that other perspective.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we can get caught up in our own
Oh, yeah.
self.
I really want to do this, and then it's really all about the thing that you want instead of the thing that God wants for you.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
all right, we are out of time. I really appreciate you both coming in and telling us your story. Deacon, like I said, I'm glad we're still going to see you around, and Mary, we see you around here and there too, which is great. So again, thanks for being here and telling us your story.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. If you haven't found us already on social media, you can always find us at Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube at SF Diocese anytime. That's it for us today. Hope you'll join us again next week for more Catholic Views.